welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip.
Well, everyone's just turning on each other. I mean, literally turning on each other. I'm like, what's going on here? I thought Dr. Heavenly and Quad squashed their nonsense and they were going to be friends again. But no. And Quad and Phaedra. I'm like, when did you guys fall out? Like, what's really going on? Let's talk about this, people, because I was a bit baffled here. Well, I'll go on to talk my Christy Crew. Let's talk about Married to Medicine. Now, sidebar, when it started, Dr. Jackie's talking about, she doesn't like to let male patients know when they have low sperm count. I'm like, you're a doctor, isn't that your job? What do you mean you're passing it on to the wife and then she can do the delivery of the message? No, you're a doctor. That's supposed to be your job. What if the wife doesn't have to deliver all this news? I could just give it to the patient. He's the patient, isn't he? I just thought that was a very weird comment to make. Anyway, so, they established themselves as a core four who met up. So Simone, Dr. Heavenly, Jackie and Toya about this snapper trip that Toya was planning. Now, sidebar, I do love to see Toya in her little business bag. It's good to see her, enjoying this wine club and doing some business around that. I think that's good. But anyway, they were talking about the fact that Quad didn't take much accountability when she had her little resurrection event. And Toya feels like, whenever they used to kiki, it was at her expense. Heavenly feels like she's been dropped out by Quad and she only calls her when she needs her or she needs something. So the whole interaction there was about, how they're going to deal with Quad and whether she was coming on this trip, and it was decided that she was going to come on the trip. We soon see Dr. Heavenly and her daughter Alora. That cracked me up because Alora wants to go to Florida A&M University. And Dr. Heavenly doesn't want to go there, even though she went there herself. Bless her. Because she doesn't want to let her little girl go. But she's grown up to be a beautiful young lady. I'm sure she'll do well at university. Now, Dr. Simone and Cecil, they do crack me up. I do like their little family. But yeah, it's a good thing Dr. Simone is there because I feel like Cecil will just let the boys get away with anything. They are very lucky because I think it's quite nice that she was planning to buy investment property. So she's going to get a condo for the boys to share. I think that's really nice that she's done that for them. She did crack me up though, because she definitely talking about she's got a contract. And in the contract, it means no ladies can stay for more than 2 nights. If not, they better start paying rent. So yeah, Simone. And to have clean bathrooms and kitchens. I'm like, yep, that's right, Simone. Teach these boys. And the fact that Miles, the one that has been, changing courses and changing direction, he still gets a year rent-free, and Michael gets 2 years rent-free because obviously he's still finishing up. But I thought that's quite nice. They're very, very lucky. I hope they know that because, Lord, yeah, your mum is buying you a place for you to live in rent-free for a year and they've run for 2 years. That is very blessed. So I hope they appreciate what her and Cecil are doing for them. Now, like I said, Toya, it's good to see her in her business bag and doing the wine club and talking about, she's teaching these heifers about, wine because they were all into box wine before that. She's hilarious. And Eugene obviously noting that Quad was coming, so he weren't too happy about that, particularly because, she's been particularly respectful to him. So I get why Toya is definitely like anti-Quad on that perspective. But anyway, on the minibus, I thought it was funny when Dr. Heavenly was telling Sweet Tea that her man is old as dirt. What is wrong with her? She is too much. She needs to chill. She really needs to chill. That they are newlyweds. Just leave them alone. I'm glad that Toya got her to kind of, take accountability and actually say, no, I'm sorry for what I said and, for hurting you. So at least she did get her to clear the air. And I'm glad that Sweet Tea knows not to confide in her either, because it's not the way to go. And sidebar, Dr. Simone, why did she feel the need to try and correct Sweet Tea when Sweet Tea said that she ain't talking to her about her business no more? And she's talking about that, you mean no more? And I'm like, leave the girl alone. She's not your pitney. She's not one of your boys. Leave her alone. She's a grown woman. She wants to say it the way she wants to say it. Leave her be. Because I do like Dr. Simone. But I was like, Dr. Simone, that sounds like a Jackie thing. Like, please, don't do this head teacher vibes. We don't need that from you. Please, just leave it alone. Now, when I did get to Napa, I did think it was interesting, this whole Toya saying that she's forgotten to sort out a accommodation for Quad. I call bullshit because you had this big meeting with the core four, as you call yourself, to discuss Quad come along. So it's a bit ridiculous that you could have forgotten to sort out her accommodation. And then obviously you're trying to get everyone to share with her, and obviously no one wants to share with her. And then you put it on the newbie, the new doctor, Dr. Alicia, who I must say, I don't know nothing about her. I forget that she's there half the time. So I hope we do get a bit of a look into her life, because I honestly forget that she's there. But yeah, like I said, I feel like Toya was being petty by not organising a room for Quad. We know she can't really stand Quad, but I feel like maybe the production made her invite her to Napa, because it did seem a bit interesting, the way that conversation was taking place. But anyway, they end up palming her off on the newbie, Alicia, talking about, oh yeah, you're helping solve our problems. I'm like, poor Alicia, because I don't even know what's going on with your life. I have no idea about you. I just see you here and there. I just realised you're a dentist just the other day, today, because I didn't know what you was doing before. I just saw you, I knew you were some sort of doctor, but I know nothing about you. So hopefully we'll get into that. So anyway, after they go for their little spas and bike rides, Quad arrives a bit later and to Toya's suite, and it could have been a much more warmer welcome for her. I was like, Lord Toya, the woman just walked through the door, you're chatting about, I didn't think you were coming. I was like, Lord have mercy. And then she proceeds to read off a list of people that said they didn't want to share with her as well. I was like, Toya, just you might just slam the door in her face and just had to go about our business. Like, what was the point? But, Quad didn't get too combative at that point, apart from just trying to throw shade about, where have you put me? Like, throwing shade about that. But I'm like, that was a bit much. Like Simone said, I felt like she did have a bit of an attitude, but I get why Toya has an attitude because of the way they've had their issues. But I feel like she could learn from Simone in terms of being cordial, Anyway, so Jackie and Phaedra also arrive a bit later on, and Toya's asking Phaedra about why she switched flights. And I was like, oh, she switched flights, did she? So she switched flights from being with Quad to getting on a later flight with Jackie. Now, Phaedra's saying that they're fine, there's no problem. And obviously, Toya is looking at it like, oh, this is some bullshit. Jackie throws some shade about Phaedra cutting off anybody who don't make her look good. And, the resurrection event, Quad didn't make her look good. So I was like, well, it definitely seems a bit weird. And based on how the dinner went, it definitely seems like something's going on between them two, because they're usually quite as thick as thieves from what I've seen on the show thus far. Anyway, a sidebar, Sweet Tea, she was really down in that liquor, innit? Like it was apple juice. I said, God, take time, man. My Lord. Anyway, the dinner outside looked really beautiful, I must say, with the live violinist playing there. I was like, yeah, this is cute. Little ambience. Looks cute. Looks cold, though. But it did look very cute. Obviously, Jackie mentions that she's going to be speaking to the vice president about, black maternal health, which is good. She's excited about that. Phaedra joins, looking all cute in her outfit, and Quad as well. She looked cute. Old lady's looking nice and put together at the table. And then Quad starts off by congratulating Toya, and I thought, well, that's probably the best way to go, which was nice, but also left with crickets afterwards, because it's just bare awkward vibes at that table. Dr. Simone brings up the elephant in the room, which is, Quad's overall status with the group, which did sound a little bit like, you guys sound like you're kind of blocking her out, although I get it, because there has been some issues, but it did sound a bit like, oh, we're a crew and we don't know if we're going to let you back in type of behaviour, like Mean Girls. But anyway, Quad says that she has done some things that she could have done better, and says that there wasn't a safe space for her to open up. Now, she has been sticking to this for the whole time. I do feel like she needs to have a pause in between taking accountability, then saying what she wanted. So I think that's the issue that they have, because she definitely says it like all in one mouthful, like, oh, yes, I could have done some things better, but... And it's like, no, just do the accepting accountability, which is you weren't really a friend to them. You kept dropping them out. You admit yourself you were retreating. So I felt like if she just stood firm in her accountability and then apologised, it would be easier for them to move forward. But she doesn't do that. You've got Simone saying that she's basically playing the victim role. And whereas Quad saying she wanted some more support. And Simone's asking the valid question, which is, well, what's changed? If you feel like, they weren't as good friends with you, why are you kind of back wanting to hang out with them again? And obviously Quad's talking about it's a second chance for everyone. You can just clean the slate. But I think they don't want to clear the slate because they don't feel like she's addressed the slate. What I thought was interesting is, she did admit to retreating, but said she wants to change that. But then she also mentioned about not having any emotional attachment to them anymore. And I thought, this is an interesting thing to say. It was definitely... I feel like that definitely offended Dr. Heavenly, who's always kind of gone out on a limb for her, and always kind of tried to be there for her. So you can tell that she wouldn't have people with that. And Dr. Heavenly, it doesn't take much to kind of activate her, but I suppose if you've offended her, then that is it. And yeah, Dr. Heavenly let her know that she feels like she's being used, and that if it wasn't for the fact that Phaedra decided that she didn't want to bring her along to the trip, because Phaedra apparently made it clear to Dr. Heavenly that she feels like she's been bringing her and, you know, it's causing distension and she don't want to do that anymore. That then now Quad called Dr. Heavenly because Phaedra wasn't going to bring her. So Dr. Heavenly's cocking onto that and feeling like she's being used. She threw everybody under the bus from Phaedra to Dr. Jackie, talking about Dr. Jackie also thinks that you're using me. I was like, She's about to rip. And she did. She definitely let her know that she was not feeling it. She was quite vexed with Quad. Yeah, so Phaedra apparently made it clear that she didn't want to bring Quad along or, you know, invite her to stuff because there's always this energy going on. Quad is quite vexed now because she's saying that she didn't know that her and Phaedra weren't cool. And talking about, you know, remember who got you in the group in the first place? Well, that was in confessional. So I said, ooh, okay, honey, okay. But yeah, it just seems to me like Dr. Heavenly has clocked that Quad has tried to use her, you know, didn't, you know, call her until after Phaedra let her know that she weren't going to bring her along. Also mentioned that when she did go and see her, you know, and Phaedra was there, she hasn't heard from her since then. Like, she's just not reaching out to her. She's not being a good friend. And it does seem like, from anybody watching it, does seem a little bit like, okay, are they kind of ganging up on Quad a bit? But the reason why I kind of side-eye it all is because of Mariah, okay? Those who watched it from back in the day, I feel like they've done this to Mariah, and I feel like Quad was quite at the centre of trying to push Mariah out of the group. And Mariah is actually married to a doctor, a current doctor, and she created the show. So I hated the fact that she got pushed off the show. And that's when I heard them say the core four, it makes me think of Mariah and the fact that they kind of really etched her out. Apart from Toya at the time. I feel like Toya and her were okay at the time. I think they fell out afterwards or something. I don't know. But the others were quite mean to Mariah. I didn't like it. And actually now Quad's getting a bit of that karma. But she was happily dished it out. She definitely seemed like she used Mariah to get to where she needed to. She definitely seems like she kind of, you know, Gregory helped her get her status as well. So maybe Dr. Heavenly's on something about this whole, you know, using people theme. I don't know, allegedly. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see. Obviously, I don't like people being bullied or anything like that, but I feel like Quad can definitely handle it. And I feel like she's quite combative herself in the way that she deals with the ladies. She could have had one-on-ones with them at any point in time. I feel like they've kind of tried to be open with her, but she seems like she pops in and pops out. And they have gone to bat for her because I feel like if it weren't for that, I feel like Quad kind of mobilised all them to help push Mariah off the show. And now it seems like they're kind of pushing her off the show because it's because she's not necessarily interacting with them as much as she used to. So yeah, it's all a hot mess if you ask me. This whole situation is a hot mess. Yeah, it's all messy. I thought they were friends. Like I said, I thought Quad and Phaedra were cool. But how is it that you're telling Dr. Heavenly that Phaedra was dating Dr. G and apparently she wanted 4K a month, which is when it ended? Phaedra looked like, what the hell? Phaedra's talking about, my purse cost 10K, honey, so, you know, what the hell has she got to do that? And I like that way she turned it to Sweet Tea and was just like, Sweet Tea, has he ever told you that? Sweet Tea was like, no, I heard you dated. That was it. One date and that was it, basically. So I was like, this would be interesting to see how things go with Phaedra and Quad, because obviously Quad's already letting it be known that she's the reason why she's around, basically. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. What do you guys think? What do you think of the show? Do you think Quad is being kind of iced out and pushed out? Do you feel like she's being bullied on it? Or do you feel like she's kind of getting her comeuppance now because of the way she's acted over the seasons? What are your thoughts on Phaedra and Quad's friendship? Is it a friendship? Is it frenemies? Like, what's going on? I kind of like them two as a duo. And now I'm like, oh gosh, are you two going to be beefing as well? This is going to be interesting. But yes, what do you think, guys? Let me know your thoughts below.
Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.